Before we get into creating an actual teacher website or a staff website, I want to go through some of the do's and don'ts of what you would want on your page and what you might not want to have on your page. We want to definitely keep it to the point. We want the content of your page to be easily accessible, easily readable, and not too flashy and not too hokey. We want our community members, parents, administrators, other teachers, and students for that matter to be able to access your page and find the information that they need as soon as possible. The things you're definitely going to want to include on a page or on a website is your contact information, your name, your room number, your office phone number, your definitely your email. If you have a Twitter and you use it for school purposes, your Twitter feed or even a Facebook feed. We want some kind of welcoming message, maybe at the top or on the left, a teacher professional bio, kind of giving possibly how many years you've worked at the school, what your degree is in, what you teach, the classes you teach, and maybe some professional information as far as where you taught in the past or where you're going to school currently or what degrees you're currently working on. I also suggest definitely having a photograph on your website, and this correlates with when parents and community members see you out and about, they can put a face on that name to where you work and what you do at our school. Some other things that you definitely want to include on your website, I include my classroom rules, expectations, and policies here. Uh, Homework assignments. I also include a course syllabus, a description of your courses, and the everyday learning objectives, possibly. You have access to a calendar, your own personal calendar with your website, and maybe you want a calendar of events, what assignments are going on, when a test is coming up, and be able to put that in your calendar so that students can put that in their planner, organizer, can print that, parents can print that, put it on the fridge, etc. Parents actually are able to take multiple calendars and kind of organize it so that they only see their students' teachers' calendars and it'll mold into one calendar. So that's why I feel it's important that all the teachers at least have some kind of test schedule on their calendar so that parents have that access and can put all that information onto one calendar. It's easy for them, it'll help our students. Any handouts, study guides, a book list with suggested reading. We have supply lists maybe at the beginning of the school year. Links to online resources that you use in your classes or with your assignments or projects. You could list those links. We'll go further into that when we get into the web design part. Any parental resources, where to go for help, how to get a hold of you, links that they might be able to link to help them with their students and their assignments that you assign. Things like class news, announcements, maybe projects, pictures that you're doing in class of certain projects. You could even post on their online quizzes using our forms and surveys section on the school wires on your website, and we'll definitely get more into that deeper as we get into creating our website. But that is a possibility. You also have access to a blog that you could use, and if you don't know what a blog is, I pulled one up here. A blog is basically somebody or anybody really can just kind of post whatever the topic is, and other people can comment on them. So this person, for example, here is their blog for that day. Other people can post on this and respond and interact in that way. I use this in my class, but also you could create a blog where students and parents could respond to what you're doing in class. Oops. Some other things, you can kind of read this here. It says for site and sub-site directors. Now this would be anyone that is a teacher or a staff member that has a page, a home page, and a calendar. When it talks about scrolling, we want minimal scrolling here. We don't want to have to scroll all the way down and all the way up, and that's why it's important to create links on your website so that your web page isn't 2-3 pages long on the front page. It says break pages, long pages into separate ones. When we're using fonts and font styles, we don't want something flashy. SchoolWires kind of limits you to what font styles you can use, but we want traditional web fonts. We want it to be consistent. We want it to be easy to read. And it gives you some examples of some font styles to use. It also says use consistent size and color when possible. Black is easiest to read. When you're doing a title or subtitle, you want to kind of make those a little bit bigger, make those pop out, and then a subtitle, and of course your body you would make a little bit smaller. But we want to be consistent with our size and our colors. We want to avoid colors such as like red, green, yellow. They're hard to read. They show up light on the screen. So we really want to stick with dark colors, and it says that black is the preferred text color, and it is, and you can see all of this is black here. Another reason for that is because when you see blue, that means a link, as you know. So we want to be able to differentiate between black as regular text and blue as a link that you can link to more information. When it comes to sizing, the size of font that you see right here is a 10 or 12 size font, and this is normal reading size for a computer or a website or a web page. It says avoid using flashing, scrolling text, things like that are hard to read. This is really important when it comes to files and uploading files onto SchoolWires or onto your school website. We want to use PDF format when posting these. It makes it so that your documents cannot be altered or changed, and it's also the easiest way for other people. Not everyone uses Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel or Microsoft PowerPoint, where those formats may not work on their home computer. So a PDF, everyone has the Adobe PDF Reader, and I'm going to show you real quick how to create a PDF document. If you were in Word, for example, and I have a document here, it's very easy to go up to File, Save As, and when I choose the folder that I want to save this to, and we're going to save this right to here, but when it says Save As Type, instead of saving as another Word document, we're going to save it as a PDF. It's the same name. We're going to go ahead and save it. This is the Word document, but you'll notice in a minute that the PDF will pop up just like so, and now it is, you can't alter it. This is what it will show up on your website, and it almost shows up as an image, so that again it can't be altered, and so that everybody can read it. Everybody pretty much has Adobe Reader, the free reader, on their computer, and if not, it is free and you can download it off the internet, whereas Microsoft Word is not. Okay, go back to this. So really, we really want to consider using PDF format files. PDFs can be created the same exact way in Microsoft Excel, in Microsoft PowerPoint, and other formats as well. But for the most of you, you use probably one of those three programs, if not all three. Those can all be created into PDFs. It's especially nice for PowerPoint presentations because all of your slides show up as one page instead of downloading the slide by slide in PowerPoint, where some people may not have PowerPoint. Okay. Copying and pasting. This is for if you have an old website or other documents where you want to copy from one and put it onto your SchoolWires account. It's very easy to, when you select something, you can always right-click and choose copy, and then right-click into wherever you want to paste that, right-click and choose paste. You can also use the shortcut commands of Control-C copies, Control-V as in Victor, paste that information as well. On here, it's asking you to use the cut, copy, and paste buttons in Microsoft Word and in SchoolWires. Both of those buttons show up in both formats. So you could also use that option. Links, anytime you see this button right here, that means a link to an outside website. And when we go into web creation, you will see this button, and we'll talk more about that at the time. It does say that when you do link, you want it to open up into a new window, unless it's on our website already. If you're linking to another teacher page or maybe a club page or a sport athletic page, then you could link within that window. But a new window would be when I click this. Okay, that won't work. When I click this, it opens up a new page, and that's what we want when we add links or websites. Links should also be descriptive so that people know what to do. You know, it says do. Click here for more information about online resources. Don't just say click here. You know, make the whole thing a link, which we'll get into that as we get into our web design in the next session. We always want to make sure that we have everything spelled correctly. We don't want to look bad to parents, community members, even the school board might be looking at this. Some other things here that you might want to consider, that you do need to consider, when it comes to blogs, and again, I showed you briefly what a blog looks like and what a blog is, but if you do host a blog, just remember that you're responsible for maintaining it and keeping it up to date, and also the content that goes on there. If you have comments that become inappropriate, you need to be aware of what's going on your blog. So if that's a route that you use, I know quite a few teachers do use a blog or even a Twitter feed, same kind of, it's actually the same thing, then you're responsible for that material. And being a school setting, you definitely want to pay attention if you decide to start one. This talks about file sizes. We don't want a huge file. That's why it's important to create a PDF, especially if you uploaded a file to your website. A PowerPoint file is going to take a long time to download to your computer. Whereas if you save it as a PDF, it'll pop right up. When it comes to creating your website, we're going to talk more about this in the next tutorial or session as well, about creating tables. And what a table does is it helps organize the content on your website or on your web page or your home page. And we'll talk more about that. When we get photos of students, if you put photos of students on your website, make sure that you've checked that the students have turned in and that the parents have signed a release form saying that their picture can be on the website. There are some restrictions that go along with that. When it comes to photo galleries, and a photo gallery is a kind of a compilation of all your photos on a website, it says to use the 500 pixels. And also, we want to limit to just using JPEG or PNG images. Any other image format does not work real well with this. Also, when it comes to images, we don't want to just copy and paste photos from the website to your home site, or from the internet to your home page or your website. We want to download that. We want to right click on the picture like this. Save picture as is usually what this says. Save it to your H drive and then upload the image so that the image is stored on the website. It's not just copied and pasted as an image. It doesn't store and it doesn't save that way. It gives you some examples of sizes that you can refer back to, but again, we're going to go back and discuss that in further sessions. Types of files that are preferred, again, it says avoid background colors and images on pages. We don't want a huge image on the background of our page, and we don't want a bright yellow color on the back of our page again either. We don't want something hokey. We want it to be professional, business-like, business-looking, so that community members and parents and students can see it easily. We want to be sure to make sure we're giving credit to pictures, images, websites that you use on your website, documents, anything. Make sure that you're citing your sources. As always, as teachers, we should be trying to avoid plagiarism at all costs and copyright infringements. That's about it. When it comes to the apps and page layout, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into creating our website, but feel free to refer back to this. This is the website that I got this from, and I will post this to our help page so that you have further access to it. But I wanted to definitely go in and just kind of give you my take on some of these things before we start creating our website.